Hey, how's it going everyone? This is Lam here. In today's video, I want to share with you some tips and tricks that I've learned when I'm using my Osmo Action. So the first thing that I want to talk about is how to save custom settings. So if you go ahead and push this little button on the lower left, you'll notice that there is a custom tab, and in here you can save all of your custom settings so that you can easily select any one of them you want. So let's go ahead and see how you can do that. I'm just going to go ahead and swipe over here, and I'm going to change the ISO to 1600, and what you'll notice down here is the custom settings button has disappeared because I have changed the setting. If you swipe down, this is the custom settings button in the upper left. If you touch that, you can automatically save a new setting. It'll tell you all of the information that you want. You select OK, and now I have saved another setting. So this is going to be custom setting number 5. I've already had 4 of them already saved, and this is the 5th one right here. The reason why this is important is if you swipe down, if you go into the nut icon, you can actually use those custom settings for a number of things. If you go into Snapshoot, what you can do is at the very bottom, you can see all of your custom settings, and you can actually set one of them to it. So I have my first custom setting set to snapshot, which is going to be video at 2K 60 frames per second. And what this will do is if I shut off the camera and I go ahead and push the record button, it's going to go into snapshot mode. So I select that, and you'll notice that I am now in C1 even though I was in time lapse when I shut off the camera. So it automatically went to C1 because that's what I told it to do. So that's really useful. If I just really want to turn on the camera real quick with Snapshoot, it would always revert back to the custom setting that I designated it for. So that's super useful. Another thing you can do is you can actually have all of your custom settings on the Snapshoot button. So in other words, you'll notice that all of my custom settings are in Snapshoot. And again, you can do that. And again, if you swipe down and go to the nut icon, you can go ahead and do that in the quick switch. You'll notice I have all of my custom settings selected, except for these two, which I don't want in quick shoot, but I do want those custom settings. This C5 right here was the one we just put in. And down here at the bottom are all of the default settings, which I don't want because I'd rather have my custom settings in my quick shoot. So it's really useful to have just all of my custom settings in quick switch. The next tip that I want to show you is how quickly you can actually switch over to your front screen. Now you can easily do it by pressing and holding the quick switch button, which will turn on your front screen right here. So again, you can press and hold and it'll switch over. Another way you can do it is you can just double tap with 2 fingers and it'll automatically switch over to the front. So once again, you can just hit and then it'll switch right back. So really easy to do, and it's a lot faster than having to hold that button over there. So very quick, very easy to use. The next tip that I want to talk about, and it took me a while to figure this out, is that when you hit the display button, this actually only puts it into sleep mode. It's actually not turned off. So when you have the display turned on, if you push and hold, that's when it'll shut down and it'll actually save you some battery life. Also, in the nut icon, if you go all the way to the bottom, there is an auto power off, and for me, I actually put it in the middle, and the default is actually 5 minutes, but for me, I went ahead and just did 10 minutes because occasionally I do want it in sleep mode for a little bit longer of a period of time because it is very convenient for me. The last thing that I want to talk about is going to be in your camera icon, and that is the deep warp mode, which means lens correction basically, and it's really useful to have the camera just lens correct it for you. But one thing to note is that you actually have to turn on deep warp across all of your modes. So in other words, when you actually switch modes, this can turn back off because you've never turned it back on. So for each mode that you do use, make sure that you go into your camera icon and make sure you actually turned it on. It's also the reason why I like to save custom settings, because I know I have it on in all of my custom settings. That way I know I have de-warp turned on, because it's very easy to actually turn things on and off with this touchscreen just because it won't register your touch swipes. But those are my quick tips and tricks. If you have any more, definitely leave it in the comments below. I would love to read about them and incorporate them into my camera. That's all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.